Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Caroline. I'm a lecturer in physics at a UK university. This is an end of day video, so no fancy backdrop I'm afraid today. I just thought I'd put the camera up on the windowsill and record a video. Because it's that time of year where people are writing up reports and essays, and I figured it was a good time to talk about writing a really strong abstract. So abstracts, they're often the last thing you write when you've done your report, but they're the first thing that somebody reads when they're reading your report or marking your report, so it's really important to have a nice, clear and strong abstract. As a lecturer, I have to write my fair share of abstracts, so I end up writing them for journal papers or for conference applications. I did my PhD and then I joined industry, and when I was an industrial scientist for a number of years, I had to write abstracts for my commercial reports. And there they were really important, the abstracts, because somebody had paid me to do a particular piece of work, and then they wanted the abstract at the front of the report so they could read it very quickly and concisely and see what the report was about. So abstracts do matter. And as an academic, they really matter, because if someone's searching for a particular topic on a particular idea, they tend to look at the title, and then the next thing they read after the title is the abstract. And if your abstract is good and strong and interesting, then they're likely to read the rest of your paper. And that's really important, because if someone reads my papers, they might be able to email me to kind of exchange ideas. Maybe they've got data we could share. Maybe I get a new collaborator. So actually an abstract can open the door to a whole network of new collaborations within a scientific area. And also it's really important in terms of your career. Abstracts stick around. You know, if you've written an abstract and you publish it in a journal paper, it stays out there in the world of science. So if you're applying for like a job promotion, if you're going from lecturer to senior lecturer, or maybe reader or even professor, people will look at your abstracts and they'll read your abstracts as an indication of your work. So you want a set of good, strong abstracts. And also these days, you know, search engines, so when you've got your title, your keywords and your abstract, they're the things that a search engine might use to help recommend whether somebody should look at your paper in a particular area. I guess basically what I'm trying to say is that abstracts are important. But maybe for you, an abstract is a part of the report that gets you marks. And looking at marking schemes, abstracts aren't necessarily going to carry the most marks for your report. So most abstracts, maybe they carry 5%, 10% of the overall mark for the report. And it's tempting to go, oh, that's not so many marks, I won't worry about it so much, I'll focus on the rest of the report. And the abstract is so important because it sets the tone for your report. You know, the person reading it reads your abstract most likely as the very first thing. And so you really want to invest the time in getting a nice, strong, clear abstract to help set the reader off then for the rest of your report. So okay, enough waffling about why abstracts are good. Let's think about what makes then a really good, clear, nice abstract. So first things first, abstracts are not the place for long sentences. You want your abstract to be punchy, to be memorable, and to be really, really clear that somebody can really quickly understand the key points and the key message that you're getting across. And usually shorter sentences do that better. So short, sharp, punchy sentences, nice and accessible, can help get your message across clearly to the reader. In an abstract as well, you also want to explain the motivation behind your study. So it doesn't necessarily be many sentences, but why did you do what you're doing? Why should the person be interested to read it? You know, what is the relevance of your report? And trying to capture the person's attention as to why they want to read the rest of your report. And then for STEM subjects, so science, technology, engineering and mathematics, you're most likely going to be reporting data. So you measured something, you calculated something, you predicted something, and that's at the heart of your abstract, to actually share what are the key findings of your report. So your abstract needs to be motivating why you did that particular study and why it's of relevance, and basically why should somebody care about what that study is going to describe. And then the next bit of your abstract needs to look through the key points, your key findings, what you discovered, what you measured, what you recorded, what you looked up, what you found. That bit goes in there. And then you kind of want to end your abstract with a kind of overarching statement that brings it all together and then leaves the reader wanting to read the rest of your report. And then again for the STEM subjects, so again for the science, technology, engineering and mathematics and other disciplines too, if you're giving numbers, if you're quoting a value or you measured something or, I don't know, your model predicted something, Think about units. Are you presenting that data with the right units after it? Have you got the right lettering, symbols and equations and notation for your particular discipline? Do you need errors? Everybody loves errors. Do you need errors or uncertainty associated with your measurement? Also, many abstracts you want to avoid using references. So an abstract has to stand alone from the rest of your report. So somebody should be able to come in, pick up your abstract and not need to read anything else in your report. And that includes the references. So you can't have 1, 2, 3 in your abstract as your references that are then appearing at the end of your report. So most people will try to avoid using references in an abstract, but sometimes you can't help it. Sometimes you need to put an abstract with a reference. And if you're doing that, then the reference needs to be in the abstract itself. So you need to check with the person that you're writing the report for, the establishment, how they want the reference to be structured and formatted, but the reference needs to be embedded within the abstract. So you can take that abstract away and read it completely independently from the rest of your report. And that makes it super important then to know the audience that you're writing your abstract for and if there's any particular requirements. So you might be writing an abstract for a science report, or maybe you're writing it for an essay, maybe you're writing it for a customer, so a customer report, maybe you're doing it for a journal paper, maybe you're writing an abstract for a conference. All of them are going to have slightly different formatting and structural requirements. So I've done a couple of conference ones lately. One required me to write a 500-word science abstract, and then I had to write a few hundred words afterwards that was meant to be like the accessible public version. So the same abstract but written in 2 different tones. And then another conference wanted an abstract which was about 600 words as a paragraph. And then I was allowed to have 2 pages of supporting abstract information. So I could put graphs and things, which is quite unusual. Not really part of the abstract, more part of the evidence base to try to get me a spot at the conference. But anyway, find out if there's particular requirements or formatting or structure on your abstract, and find out if there's a word count. You don't want to go over the word count, so keep to your abstract word count. If I was to summarise then, when you write your paper report, just remember the title is going to get the person's attention, but they're then going to be going very quickly to your abstract to try to understand your study, why you did it, what motivated the study, why it's relevant, and what your key findings and results are. And when I write an abstract, I tend to write it and then put it to a side. I might finish up writing the report, I might work on something else, and I'll come back, ideally a day later, and I'll read the abstract again, and I'll reflect and go, does it cover those key points? As a reader, would I be interested in reading more about this report? Do I understand why the measurements were taken? And do I understand what the report actually found out? And if you can tick those 3 things off, you've got a nice strong abstract. And even better, try to get somebody else to read it. So a friend or a housemate or a family member, just somebody who hasn't necessarily got to read the whole report, but get them to read just the abstract and then ask them what bit they remembered. What is the bit that they can recall from your abstract? Because you want to make sure that they can remember your key message. So if there's a particular thing you found out, a particular measurement you achieved, a particular diagnostic tool that you developed, that's the thing that they need to remember having read your abstract. And if they can remember the key bit, again, you've got a good abstract. So yeah, abstracts, they might not carry that many marks in a marking scheme, but they are important. And I think they do deserve a bit of time to make sure you set yourself up with a really nice one at the beginning of your report. Especially if you've invested a lot of time doing the rest of the report, don't then have a weak abstract. Do the best you can on the abstract, because it really does set a nice tone for the reader then for the rest of your work. So good luck if you're writing any abstracts. I'd love to know which is your favourite part of writing the report. Do you like writing the introduction the best, the theory? Maybe you like, looking at the results and the analysis or the conclusions? I don't think many of us really enjoy doing the referencing. It's never my favourite bit, keeping the references as I go through. But writing the abstract's okay. I don't mind writing the abstract. So let me know your favourite bit of report writing. If the video was helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I'll be back on Monday. So have a nice few days, enjoy the weekend, and I'll see you on Monday for more university stuff. All right, bye.